Hello everyone, it's Enigma here, and well, today I am going to be doing a roster predictions video. This is going to be my final roster predictions before the game comes out. And, back in May I did a roster predictions, and I got a lot of things wrong, and now looking back at that roster, I kind of don't agree with it anymore. I like this roster that I have now because I just feel like it makes a lot more sense. And, I still have a bit more of a common sense than I did back in May. I like this roster, honestly. I think I came up with some pretty good choices. And, so yeah. However, as you can see, there are some different colors on screen. There's different colored borders around certain characters. That's because, yellow means that the character is an Echo Fighter. So it's basically the ones right next to the other characters. The other color, green, that indicates that it's a brand new character entirely. So basically, almost the entire bottom row is the green characters. And the red means the DLC characters. So yeah, that's basically what the color borders mean. That's why I have them there, so you know what they indicate for. But I'm going to talk about the Echo Fighters first before I get to the newcomers, because, that's just easier. So, the Echo Fighters that are already confirmed are Dark Samus, Chrom, Lucina, and Dark Pit, and Richter. I'm going to talk about the new Echo Fighters. The first one I see is Ninten. Now, I know that seems a little bit far-fetched, but hear me out. Okay? Now, if you guys remember Satoru Iwata, one of the CEOs of Nintendo of Japan, he was one of Sakurai's friends. He worked a lot with Smash Brothers, and he was a big part of the Mother series. He did a lot of Earthbound. And he unfortunately passed away in 2015, in July 2015. And it was really tragic. It was really heartbreaking when the news came, and it was totally unexpected. But, this roster was finalized in December 2015, so the same year, just a few months after Satoru Iwata passed away. I think as a tribute to Satoru Iwata and just a thank you for working in the Smash community, I think that it would make total amount of sense to include Ninten as an Echo Fighter of NES. I mean, yeah, it's not a full-fledged character, but even an Echo Fighter is still a nice tribute to him. And not only because of Iwata, but it would also just make sense anyway, because, because NES represents Earthbound, Ninten could represent Mother, and Lucas represents Mother 3. So you can have the three main protagonists of each of the three Earthbound games, which would make a lot of sense. So, yeah, that's why I have Ninten as an Echo Fighter, as a tribute to Iwata, and just because it makes sense, because it could represent all the Mother games. So, yeah, that's why I included Ninten as an Echo Fighter, and besides, I think he'd be a really cool Echo Fighter. So, yeah. The next Echo Fighter I see is Impa. Now, it just makes sense because Impa is the one that taught Sheik all of that, all of her ninja stuff. So it would make a lot of sense for Impa to be the Echo Fighter since Sheik made it in before her. I think Impa would be a really cool character, and because we need more Zelda reps. Even if it's just an Echo Fighter, we still need more Zelda reps. And it would just make a lot of sense as Impa as an Echo Fighter. So yeah, I don't really have much to say about Impa, but it just makes a lot of sense to include Impa because, yeah, and because she's just heavily requested. She was one of the most requested characters back in the day, and I think a lot of people would still want her. So yeah, that's why I included Impa as an Echo Fighter. So yeah. The next Echo Fighter is Dixie Kong. Okay, now if you guys saw my Echo Fighters talk, I talked about how it doesn't make sense to include characters that could have well, the thing about Dixie Kong is that I talked about her being a semi-clone in my Moveset Mondays episode. But since that it's proved that you don't have to be exactly similar to qualify as an Echo Fighter, that means that I think now Dixie Kong could work as an Echo Fighter. The only thing I can see changed about her is that she can use her hair as a recovery instead of the jetpack. Another thing is that instead of the peanut pop gun, it can be the gumball pop gun, and then maybe I guess for her down special, the banana, and the side special, the monkey attack. And I guess her final smash, since final smashes are different for all the Echo Fighters, her final smash would obviously have to be the guitar. You have to throw the guitar in sometime in her moveset. And the thing is that if King K. Rool is in this game, Dixie Kong has got to be as well. And, when Ridley was revealed, we did not get any confirmation for Dark Samus. Dark Samus came after, so the same thing could happen here. King K. Rool is announced first, like an actual full-fledged character from that series, and then another character later on that is an Echo Fighter, but still from that series, which is obviously going to be Dixie Kong. So yeah, I think it'd make a lot of sense for... I guess now it makes a lot more sense for Dixie Kong to be an Echo Fighter, since it proves that you don't have to be exactly similar to qualify as an Echo Fighter. So yeah, that's where I stand on that. Now, however, my opinion has not changed for Shadow. I still don't want to see him as an Echo Fighter. I want to see him as an Echo. I mean, I want to see him as an actual character. I do not want to see him as an Echo. The reason why I have him listed as an Echo in this roster is because these are roster predictions. These are not my roster wish list. If I was making a wish list, I would make Shadow his full-fledged playable character. But since this is just predictions, I think it does make sense for Nintendo to add him as an Echo Fighter, even though I don't want that. Because there's just so much you can do that is different from Sonic. Like, yeah, he has some similarities, but not all similarities. Shadow can use a lot of attacks. He can use Chaos Blast, Chaos Control, Inhibitor Rings. There's so much you can do with Shadow, and it would just be a missed opportunity making him an Echo Fighter. However, what makes me feel like Shadow will be an Echo Fighter is because it proves that you can have multiple characters from a third-party franchise. It shows with Richter. Simon is included, and then we got Richter. And he's an Echo Fighter of Simon. And we still have not seen Shadow's Assist Trophy. And since Echo Fighters were introduced, it does make sense for them to introduce Shadow as an Echo Fighter. Even though I don't want that, it doesn't make sense in my head, but it makes sense in general. If that makes any sense, I don't think it does. But yeah, Shadow being an Echo Fighter is unfortunately feeling real. I wished he was an actual character, but what can we do? So yeah, the next character is Ken. The next Echo Fighter is Ken. He's from Street Fighter, and Ken, I think, actually does make a whole lot of sense, and I actually would love to see Ken in this game. Because, if you think about it, Ken is like the first Echo Fighter. If that makes any sense. He's like the original Echo Fighter. He's like the first clone of Ryu. Literally almost all of Ken's attacks in Street Fighter is copied from Ryu. So Ken being an Echo Fighter actually does make a whole lot of sense, and I could actually see Nintendo doing that. And since with the inclusion of Simon and Richter, I think it does make sense for Ryu and Ken. Because, yeah, and Street Fighter is just a popular franchise. I mean, anyone can pinpoint any Street Fighter character and know who it is. Like, literally. So yeah, I think Ken actually has a solid chance of being in this game. He's actually one of the most likely Echo Fighters in my opinion. And Verjabin is stating that Ken will be in the game at some point. So I don't know if he's telling the truth. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think it is very realistic for Ken to be an Echo Fighter of Ryu. And now finally, the part I've been waiting for is talking about the actual characters. Okay, now the actual characters that have been confirmed thus far is Inkling, Ridley, Simon, and King K. Rool. Those are the 4 full-fledged new characters. And as for like brand new characters in the base roster, I have 8. Yes, that's right, I have 8. First, I'm going to start off by talking about Geno. Geno is going to be in this game. I have no doubt in my mind that Geno is going to be in the game. I said this for King K. Rool, and I'm going to say it for Geno. Geno is going to be in this game. And what makes me think that is because he is the last of the 3 trilogy. If you don't know what I mean, the trilogy of characters are the 3 most requested characters in the Smash Brothers universe. The characters that are in that trilogy are Ridley, King K. Rool, and Geno. And look what we have in Smash. We have both Ridley and King K. Rool. Now, I think Geno is next. Geno is the last of the trilogy to make it into this game. If Geno makes it into this game, this is gonna be the best Smash Brothers of all time. Because it has the fan service that everyone has wanted for a long time. Not only that, but Geno, Sakurai even wants Geno, and I used to say that Geno has no chance, but now that this game is mostly about fan service, and the fact that Sakurai wants him, I now think that Geno was the most likely character at this point. Yes, it seems far-fetched, but honestly, he is the last character of that trilogy to be revealed in this game, and honestly, I think Geno would actually be a really cool character. I could actually consider maining him. Because, like, he attacks with, like, he has a gun for a hand. And he can, like, attack with stars and stuff. It'd be so cool as a character. And I would love to play as Geno. I could actually consider maining him. Because he just looks like such a cool character. So, yeah, that's why I have Geno listed as a new character, because I just think it's likely. It's extremely likely. And, honestly, I feel like it's a given at this point. I honestly feel like he is playable, because, you know, it just makes sense, you know? He's gonna be playable. If you have Ridley and King K. Rool, he's gonna add Geno, okay? So, all you Geno supporters, you do not have to fear. Geno will be in the game, whether, one way or another. He will be in, okay? So yeah, that's what I have to say about Geno. Skull Kid. I've heard a lot of speculation about Skull Kid. If you want my honest opinion, I wouldn't care one bit if Skull Kid made it in or not. I guess it's just because, you know, I'm not really a big fan of Skull Kid. I mean, I wouldn't care if he's in, but I also wouldn't care if he didn't. Now, what makes me feel like Skull Kid could actually be playable is because we have not seen his assist trophy yet, with a similar case to Shadow. We haven't seen Skull Kid's assist trophy at all, and he's been replaced with the Moon assist trophy, which that does seem like an odd choice for an assist trophy, but it's still a really cool assist trophy, by the way. But Skull Kid, I think Skull Kid could actually be very likely, even though I could care less, honestly. I just don't really like his design that much, and I don't really know anything interesting that he'd do, but, I mean, hey, if he gets in and I'm proven wrong, who knows? I might consider trying him a bit, but but Skull Kid, to me, I wouldn't really care, honestly. So yeah, that's my opinion on Skull Kid. Karate Joe is next. Karate Joe. Now, for those who don't know Karate Joe, he's from Rhythm Heaven, which is like a rhythm game. Honestly, I feel like he is the last important character from the Nintendo series to yet get a character in Smash. I know a lot of people are saying the Chorus Kids, but quite honestly, I do not know what the Chorus Kids would do. I have no idea what the Chorus Kids would do in their attacks. So honestly, I feel like if they're going to add anyone from Rhythm Heaven, it's going to be Karate Joe. And honestly, I feel like Karate Joe would fit because, you know, he knows karate. And I feel like he'd be an actual interesting character. So yeah, I would actually really love to see Karate Joe in this game. Like, he seems like just such a wacky and zany character that I just feel fits with Smash. Like, it just makes a whole lot of sense to include Karate Joe. I think it makes a whole lot of sense. That's really all I have to say about Karate Joe. I don't really have much to say about him. I just feel like it would be really cool to see him, and I feel like it makes a whole lot of sense. Now, the next character that I feel is a given at this point, and I'm surprised a lot of people are not talking about it, is the Monster Hunter. Now, what makes me feel a Monster Hunter is going to be playable is simply because Rathalos is a boss. That has got to be the biggest hint at a Monster Hunter playable character. Because, like, why would you have a boss that is from a third-party franchise, mind you, as a boss in this game? I just don't feel like that would make a lot of sense. I just don't feel like that would make a lot of sense. And, so, if they were to, I feel like they would just throw in a Monster Hunter character. And because Monster Hunter just has a lot of history with Nintendo consoles, and it just makes a whole lot of sense to include Monster Hunter, since, yeah, Rathalos is a boss, so I think it would make a lot of sense. So yeah, let's go on to the next character, which is Bandana D. Bandana D has got to be in this game. He is not really one of my most requested characters, but out of all the characters that are in the base roster, he is the one that makes the most amount of sense. Because if you have Kirby, Meta Knight, and DDD, if you throw in Bandana D, that completes the whole group of the Kirby characters. Those are like the 4 heroes of the Kirby characters. It still is surprising to me that we have still not have seen Bandana D. That's extremely surprising to me. We need Bandana D in this game. And not only that, he is from Sakurai's own series. So I think that if they were to add anyone from Kirby, I think it would be Bandana D. And I think at this point, he is one of the most likely characters at this point. Just because, you know, it's surprising it's not happened yet. He should have been included way back in Smash 4. I don't get why he hasn't been shown off yet. And, yeah, I think Bandana D is one of the most likely characters at this point, for sure. The next character I have listed is Heihachi. Now, for those who don't know, he is from Tekken, which is another fighting series similar to Street Fighter. I think Heihachi is one of the most likely characters in this game because, 1, he's had a Mii Fighter outfit in Smash 4, and 2, Sakurai has stated that he was originally considering to add Heihachi as in Smash 4, instead of Ryu, but he dropped the idea for unknown reasons. However, maybe he can make it work this time, and I think it could be a really interesting character. And because I prefer Tekken over Street Fighter, honestly. I like Tekken. I don't know why, I just do. And if they were to add any Tekken character, it would have to be Heihachi. Because, you know, he just has a lot of moves. And I feel like he'd be a really interesting character from Tekken. And I think that, I think he'd be a really cool character. The next character I have is Incineroar, which is a Pokemon, from Gen 7. I used to think that Decidueye will be in the game, but now I just feel like Incineroar is more likely, which is what a lot of people's minds has changed to. Because I don't know why. I mean, Virgimen has stated that not to expect Decidueye, not to expect Mimikyu, and not to expect Lycanroc. And so far he's right, because in the August Nintendo Direct, Mimikyu has been deconfirmed as the Pokeball Pokemon. So far he is correct on this. And Incineroar, makes a lot of sense as the Gen 7 Pokemon, because he is a wrestler fire type. Like, out of all the Gen 7 Pokemon, I think Incineroar would be the most interesting, honestly. Now, that may seem like a controversial opinion, but honestly, I think it's true. Incineroar, he just seems like such a cool character to play as, and I feel he would be a really interesting Pokemon character. So yeah, if they were to add any Gen 7 Pokemon, it's gotta be Incineroar. It just makes a whole lot of sense, and I just feel like it just makes a whole lot of sense for Incineroar to be in this game. The next character is Banjo and Kazooie. Now, if you haven't seen my video from yesterday, I talked about how, I think Banjo and Kazooie are likely now, because, you know, after I've seen the August Nintendo Direct, I am now a firm believer that we're going to be getting Banjo and Kazooie. I think he's going to be the last revealed character from the base roster. I think he's going to be the final character for the base roster, and because I feel like if they're, they should, end this development cycle with a bang. They should go all out with the last character reveal. And, yeah, Geno would be hyped. Well, yeah, I feel like they would be just as hyped as Geno. Because, but I feel like Geno is probably going to be, the next character revealed, honestly. Because with all the leaks and stuff that's been going on and the rumors. But, if they're going to end this with a bang, Banjo and Kazooie would have to be the last character reveal for the base roster, because that would make everyone excited for what's to come with DLC and stuff. And it's oh man, that would be such an awesome character reveal. I'd be going ballistic if that happened, literally. Because Banjo and Kazooie are actually one of my most wanted newcomers. I want Banjo and Kazooie, and I think they'd be really cool characters, and I think they just work so well in this game. I like Banjo and Kazooie, and I'd love to see them in this game, and they definitely deserve to be here. So, yeah, that's why Banjo and Kazooie are in this roster. Now, we're almost done with the video. All we have to do now is talk about the DLC characters. And I don't have a lot of DLC characters. I only have 6. Those DLC characters are Springman, Rex and Pyra, Isaac, Rayman, Crash, and Sora. First, I'm going to talk about Springman and just make my way down. Springman. Springman is a given as DLC at this point because of ARMS. You know, he's the newest IP from Nintendo. And normally when they add DLC characters, it's mostly for promotion or hypeful characters. And I think that I think Springman is the most likely DLC character at this point, along with Rex and Pyra. I think those 3 characters have a very likely chance of being DLC. So yeah. Rex and Pyra, same thing, you know, they'd be an awesome promotion for Xenoblade 2, and I know a lot of people want Rex and Pyra. They'd be really interesting characters, and I would honestly be surprised if Rex and Pyra don't be DLC at least, because Sakurai has stated that he loves Xenoblade 2. And it makes a whole lot of sense for him to add Rex and Pyra. So yeah, I think Rex and Pyra would be really cool characters in this game, and I think it'd be awesome additions to the roster. The next character is Isaac from Golden Sun. Now, Isaac is one of the most requested characters for Smash. It was kind of odd how Sakurai removed his assist trophy from Smash 4, which is kind of odd how he didn't represent Golden Sun at all in Smash 4, which kind of seems weird to me. But he should understand that people weren't too happy when Isaac wasn't playable in Smash 4, so maybe he'll surprise us as DLC, or maybe even the base roster. I just put him as DLC because I had nowhere else to fit him in the base roster. You could literally replace Isaac with another first-party character, and it would still make a whole lot of sense. So I just put Isaac as DLC, but I think he could actually be in the base roster. So yeah, don't think that me putting Isaac as DLC means that he's gonna be DLC. I think he could actually fit for base roster, but I had nowhere else to put him. I had to put him there. So yeah. Next up is Rayman. Now we're gonna get into the third-party DLC characters. Rayman is very likely in my opinion, because doesn't it seem odd how Sakurai added Rayman trophies in Smash 4? And because of the whole Smashified Rayman thing, Sakurai has had to see that. Like, he has had to see that, because, like, it was everywhere. When Artsy Omni Smashified Rayman, it was everywhere. Because everyone thought it was real, because Omni even, like cursed over Rayman's selection. So everyone thought it was real, and sadly it wasn't, and I think Rayman actually is possible, because, like, he just feels very likely to me. I think he's one of the most likely third-party characters at this point. And he's such an icon. I mean, a lot of people know who Rayman is. I think he's actually I could actually call him an icon. You know, he is Ubisoft's most popular character, and if they were to add anyone from Ubisoft, it would have to be Rayman for sure. And definitely not the Rabbids. Please, no cringy, annoying Rabbids. Please. I could stand them as assist trophies, but them being actual characters, like, no, please kill me. Yeah, no. The next DLC character is, my boy, Crash Bandicoot, my most wanted newcomer. I think at this point it makes much more sense as DLC now. I kind of understand the whole DLC thing, simply because, yeah, it just makes a whole lot of sense. And Crash is a gaming icon. You have to feature Crash in this game, one way or another. Whether it's the base roster or DLC, I think Crash has a solid chance of being a DLC character. And I think it's long overdue, honestly. I think Crash should have been playable way back in Brawl, honestly. I think he should have been playable way back when third parties were introduced. Crash is that iconic, and like it was just such a loss when we didn't see him in Brawl and we didn't see him in Smash 4. As a surprise guest, here's my standing on this. I think Crash could be like the Mega Man and Pac-Man of this game. He's like I think both Rayman and Crash would be like the Mega Man and Pac-Man of this game, because they're like two iconic characters from gaming in the past, and them being playable characters would make a whole lot of sense. People would go crazy, and including myself. I honestly feel like I'd literally collapse to the floor of Crash. I'd cry tears of joy if Crash got into this game. Crash just holds a special place in my heart, and I just want to see him as DLC, at most. Because, like, no, not at most, at least DLC. Because, like, oh man, Honestly, I don't think Crash is that likely in the base roster, but for DLC, I think he's one of the most likely for DLC. So yeah, I think, and besides, if they were to add another PlayStation character like how they did with Cloud, I think Crash would be the next likely PlayStation character. So yeah, that's where I stand on Crash. Crash needs to be in. Spread the word. Hashtag Crash for Smash. We need to make it happen. But yeah, anyways, on to the last character. This is the big one. This is what many people consider to be one of the most unlikely gaming characters to get into Smash. Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Now, some people are wondering, why do you think Sora is going to be playable in this game? Well, hear me out on this. Yes, Sora is owned by Disney. I used to think he was owned by Square, but I think he's mostly owned by Disney. But Square helps with the games. Even then, Nintendo and Disney have a huge friendship. They actually are great friends, Nintendo and Disney. And yeah, of course, Disney is one of the most biggest companies out there. It's huge. Like, I mean, there's theme parks about Disney. But if they were to add anyone from Disney or Square, it would have to be Sora. Like, I mean, well, if they were to add anyone from Square, it would be Gina, obviously. But another thing is that each third-party, well, most third-party characters in this game have 3 representatives from that said company. So let's see, Ryu, Mega Man, and Monster Hunter, I think. Those are Capcom, I think. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. And then, Sonic, Bayonetta, and Shadow. Those are 3 characters. Simon, Richter, and Snake. 3 characters. Okay. Actually, no. Monster Hunter is Namco. What am I saying? Okay, I corrected myself. Pac-Man, Monster Hunter, Heihachi. And then, so yeah, the only one that, like, oh yeah, and then Mega Man, Ryu, and Ken. Okay, I had to think about that for a second. Square, on the other hand, as of my roster predictions, besides Sora, only has 2 representatives, Cloud and Geno, from Square. If we're going with the trend that I've added with 3 characters from that third-party company, Sora would break the internet. Because I think he'd be the Cloud of this game. No one saw Cloud coming. Everyone was so shocked when Cloud was in the game. And I think the same case would be for Sora. I think Sora could be that character that no one would expect. Everyone would be like, oh my god, Sora's in the game! Everyone would go crazy. Like, everyone would go crazy if Sora made it in the game. And now that's what makes me feel like he's actually really likely. I know that he does seem a little bit out there, but quite honestly, I think it makes a whole lot of sense at the same time. I think Sora is actually one of the most likely characters, despite what everyone else says. Sora is a huge gaming character. Sora has a lot of fans, a lot of characters want him, and I just don't see why they wouldn't add Sora at this point. Sora is just, I think he'd be a really cool character in the game, so yes, Sora, definitely DLC. I don't think he'd be in the base roster, but DLC, definitely. It would have to be a possibility, at least. At least. So yeah, that was my long roster predictions video. I'll be surprised if any of you stayed for that long. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Also, I made this roster with a website that I'm going to leave a link to in the description below so that you guys can make your own roster predictions. I'm going to leave a download link to the program down below so you guys can make your own rosters like I did. Yeah, so that's probably what some of you guys are probably wondering. So if you guys want to make your own rosters, tell me or show me a link to your roster in the comments down below. I'd love to hear it. Also, another thing I have to point out is because some people might say, why all the randoms? That's because I just simply wanted to, like, make the roster, like, fit good, because I just added that as placeholder so that the roster looks at least a little better instead of the roster just looking unorganized. So that's what I did for this roster. So yeah. Anyways, tell me in the comments down below, what your roster is. I'd love to hear it. Anyways, this has been Enigma, and peace. See you next time.